Welcome back. This is Mike, Hot Rod Solutions. I want to go over today and give you an update on the 46 extended cab project. The bed, the front of the bed that you're looking at is the 14 inches that we've cut off the truck. I want to show you kind of how that process went. If you can see, simply measured the 14 inches that we stretched it from here back to here, plumbed it up, squared it up, and cut it. If you'll notice, it had a really nice Line-X bed liner in it, and I'm going to show you what I did to retain that. And I had to do some extra processes to make sure that I didn't ruin that bed liner. So first of all, there's the back of the bed. It's got a bunch of custom work done to it. If you'll look at this bed, I wanted to kind of go over and tell you some unique features that I built on this bed. First, it's got some 37 Ford passenger car taillights. I had a custom frame made for that 46 license plate. No one makes one that size. I had a company make it for me. The tailgate and the bed are double walled. This is an original Studebaker bed. I added this detail in here to kind of make it look nicer. And if you look right here, this is 1 inch thick. There's a skeleton in this wall of some 1 inch tubing. And then this is another layer of 16 gauge steel. There's a couple of reasons for doing that. I put this tubing in here to straighten up the sides of the bed that were kind of wavy. And the other reason was to make this flat surface to have my custom bed cover put on. And if you see, there's the screws, the nut zerts that hold it in. And it went all the way around. And in that process, these are just trailer fenders. That's all they are. They're turned around backwards. Use the round edge right here and welded the plate on the face of it flush and cut it to width. I think they're about 4 inches, the best I remember. And then did body work. I did body work all in the floor of this bed because it was kind of pitted. Made some real nice rounded edges. Added some custom tailgate latches. Let's see if I can get them open with one hand. I need both my hands. If you look closely, I think this stuff is from Pro's Pick, the best I remember. It's got a spring loaded on each side and a hole that it goes through right here. This has all got nut zerts in it. This tailgate was real flimsy. It's a reproduction tailgate. So if you look around the edge here, I'm going to show you right here. This has also got 1/2 inch tubing, basically a skeleton made on the tailgate, and then another layer of 16 gauge steel there. And one of the reasons I did all of that was to make the tailgate, I see right here's the edge of the side of the bed. I'll put a rubber seal on all of that. And I made these hinges right here. I machined a piece of pipe to go, shaft to go in there, threaded it, Loctited that bolt. So when you close this tailgate, this part's not done because it goes up over. It goes up over the floor and latches on those latches. Rarely do you have to open the tailgate, it's so low. But I also wanted to show you, when you raise this tailgate up and you look at the top of the tailgate, it's got a flat area, and it was built like that intentionally for the bed cover to seal on. The bed cover comes right over here and seals on the tailgate. So this is the original rounded pipe, and I broke that sheet metal. Anyway, then I drilled holes through that new tailgate wherever the tubing would hit, and plug welded it all to that tubing. It's really solid, it's really straight, it's really rigid, and I'm very happy with the way it came out. So if you go up here to the front, this is where I had to cut the bed off. Now if you look right here, in the end of this bed, if you'll see, the walls are 1 inch thick. That's actually a piece of tubing that landed right where I had to cut the tubing and all right in half. So in cutting this, you know, the main thing was to keep this bed liner right here from getting hot and separating all the way across. And the tool I used was this Metabo with a cutoff wheel, and cut real slow and make sure and keep air blowing on it, not to get this edge hot where it would peel up. Okay, so it went over here. Same thing over here. How that wall is built, you can see the tubing. One on top, one on bottom, several in the middle. And then I decided that I would make this panel from scratch, because it just was the easiest thing to do as far as to start from scratch than it was to try to weld that other stuff back together that also had bed liner in it. This is a piece of 1x3 tubing that's welded in here and notched at the right height, and then the body mounts are on the back of it. You can see one on each side with it'll bolt onto the new brackets. And then I decided that the best way to hook this was use these galvanized self-tapping screws. I think they're number 10s, and put them right in line where the tubing is going to hide them. So the tubing on the panel, the front panel, which I'll show you in just a second, hides all of this. Now the other thing was how am I going to connect this where I can weld it in without damaging the bed liner. So one of the things it came up with was to make this panel double walled, and I'll show you when I get it fit on there in just a second. I'll show you how it's going to go. Over here is the front panel I made for it, and it too is double walled with tubing. So if you ever do decide you want to run to the swap meet and haul some stuff in here, things can roll around in this bed and it's not going to dent the outside of the truck. Not that I haul a bunch of junk in it or anything like that, but you never know when you might want to. So I took the steel plate. This is 1x2 tubing right here. And then this is 1x1 tubing. It's all 16 gauge stuff. And then I took this plate and I held it up to the face of that and traced the corrugated part, and it's not real symmetrical, so I traced it and cut it to fit over the corrugated floor. I'm not quite through welding this out, but what I did was to put all this together, I had to paint the inside of all this, and then I put some small pieces of dynamite in there just to keep the twanginess out of it. So I got a little more stitching to do. This particular bed panel, this face of the panel will be Linexed to match the bed, and the rest of this will be painted. Now, if you'll notice, there's some nuts welded in right here, and I'll show you why I did that by going up to the bed. I've drilled a hole through the panel, a bigger hole here and a smaller hole here on the other side. And the reason is I'm going to put some bolts through here I'm gonna put some bolts through there and I'm gonna Loctite them in there when I get all this ready to weld up, and I'm gonna cinch that up, and that will be Loctited bolt, and this will get welded up. The bolt will never be seen again. But the reason I wanted to do that was to try to weld. I'm gonna weld this side, and then in here it won't get any kind of attachment except with a good seam sealer. So I'm gonna set the panel on there and show you how it's gonna fit. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. So there it is. I'll be able to come in here and weld this now on this outer panel, and it will not get the inner panel hot. Okay, I gotta finish stitching this up still. But if you'll notice, that leaves the flat edge to come around here for my bed cover to sit on. And if you look inside, see how the corrugated fits on there? This will be Line-X before I put it on, and then I'll take some seam sealer and I'll seam seal all the way around this panel, and you'll never know that it wasn't done at the same time. Same way over here with the bolt going through here, and then plug weld this hole up. I got some pretty decorations to go on here like on the back, and I got some new stake pockets coming for the sides. This panel will be plug welded across the bottom to that 1x3 tubing I was talking about through these holes, welded around the side, and seam sealed on the inside. Then be ready for body work and paint and make it all beautiful again. I hope this has been interesting to you. Hopefully it helps you. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video, and feel free to like and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. I'm going to do a little more detail on this project and try to get a little more interesting videos, a little longer videos, and I'll keep going on the process. Thank you for tuning in, and check out the other videos. And like them and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to be notified. Thank you.